I've made money following this Bible story, and I'm gonna give you the 4 easy steps that come with it. I had never made money online until I learned this framework, and I'm giving it to you now. I'll admit that earning money online can be difficult and frustrating at times, but with these 4 easy steps, and after applying them myself, I've been able to post content and make money. I've been able to make money while I was sleeping, and I've been able to trust God with provision by following His principles. Before I ever earned my first dollar online, it took me 5 months to make money selling digital products. So I understand your pain and frustrations. I know that it can be hard to trust the Lord and believe that you'll have a breakthrough. But believe me when I say this, if I can do it, you can do it too. When I first started selling digital products, I was using Stan, and I slowly but surely made my first $500 online. I believe that if you double down on these 4 steps, you will earn money faster than I did, because let me just tell you, I made a lot of mistakes. So the olive oil offer is inspired by 2 Kings chapter 4. And number 1 to start us off is identify your knowledge. So 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 2 says, "And Elijah said to her, 'What shall I do for you? Tell me, what have you in the house?' And she said, 'Your servant has nothing in the house except a jar of oil.'" This is a crucial part of the process. You need to identify your knowledge, your skill, or experience, because that is what you're going to use to solve a problem for someone else. And that is how you get paid. Let me give you an example of what this might look like. Let's just say, for example, you lost 20 pounds and you had an insane transformation, fitness transformation. You packed on some muscle, you got abs, and you got really healthy. And let's just say over the course of 90 days, you had an insane transformation. Now people are going to come to you asking, like, how did you do that? What did you do to have this transformation? And now this is where you have knowledge, skills, and experiences where you can help somebody else get the same result. I am a great reflection of this. For me personally, I've struggled most of my adult life when it comes to finances, and I've struggled when it comes to building a business. So I'm turning that experience and those trials into a business where I can help people build their business, learning from the things that I've learned over the course of 8 years. So you can easily turn your knowledge into a business. Now, maybe you're thinking like, man, I don't really know what to monetize or what knowledge or skills I have. Here's the best part. You can invest in yourself. You can build on your skill sets. So let's say, for example, you see someone who needs help with video editing. You can learn how to do video editing and then eventually sell your own packages and sell your services. And the same is true for any really industry. You can develop your skill set, invest in yourself, learn how to do it, and then sell the service. Number 2, package your offer. And it says here in 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 4, "Then go in and shut the door behind yourself and your sons and pour into these vessels. And when one is full, set it aside." You see, the widow here created a product. She borrowed the jars from her neighbors. She already had the oil, and all she had to do was pour the oil into these jars, and she now created a product. And what's even crazier is if you think about it, she borrowed these jars from them, poured her oil, and then sold the jars back. Like, I think it's pretty likely that she did that. So what you can do here is you can package your offer and serve people at a high level with high ticket prices. You're just going to package your knowledge, your skills, and experiences into a high ticket coaching program or digital product. Now you can create an offer suite. Just really quick, an offer suite is when you have, different tiers of access to you. So a digital product might be $37. Then you might have, like, let's say, a course for $500, and then you have high ticket, which is $2,500, which means they have more access to you. So here's a simple offer formula. It's one person, one problem, one promise, one path, and one price. So this is how you can create your offer. So who are you gonna serve? What problem are you solving? What promise are you gonna guarantee? And what's the path? And what are you gonna charge? I believe that you should not charge less than $2,500 if you're doing high ticket coaching, one-on-one coaching, or even group coaching. Now let me preface this. If you are just starting, you might want to start coaching for free to get that experience so that you can test your framework and process to see if actually you can deliver on the results that you promise. You don't want to just say, I can help you make 10K in 90 days when you've not done it and proven that you have the results. So you may have to start off with coaching someone for free. And that's okay because you're going to get the experience and you're just going to increase your chances of success in the long run. Now, I want you to think of yourself from 3 to 5 years. Like, that's who you're serving. You're serving yourself from 3 to 5 years ago. Like, for me personally, like I said, I'm turning my experience and my struggles into a coaching program. And 2020 was a really hard time for me financially, and I struggled to build my business and get it off the ground. And so I'm thinking of that person that I was 5 years ago, and I'm creating a program for that person specifically. Now, you want to think about the transformation. Like, this is what sells your program. When you're working with someone, you want to be able to sell the transformation. This is something that needs to be specific and measurable, right? Think about this for a minute. I had this conversation with my client last night, and I said, would you rather have a program, and the transformation, it says, lose weight. Lose weight, like that's it. If someone says, I help you lose weight, or would you rather have someone say, I help you lose 20 pounds in 90 days? See how there's a difference there? That's the transformation, and you want to sell the transformation for your clients. That is how you're going to be able to work with people, because they want that transformation that you have. Now, the next thing you want to do is focus on your process. This is the process and the framework that you're going to take them on, right? Like I mentioned, you may want to start off with free coaching for 6 weeks, package something into a 6-week program so that you can test your framework. See if you're able to get the results with somebody. And just reflect on the steps that you have taken or are currently taking so that you can start outlining them. Like, I have a framework right here from 2 Kings chapter 4 that helps you to build your business. That is the process. And when you follow that process, you are going to get results. And the same thing is true for you. When you help and serve your clients, you have to come up with a process. So think on that and find out what you can start applying in your own life that would help you get the results now and also serve your clients. And this is something that I recently told my client that I'm working with. She is working on figuring out her process and her framework so that she can serve her clients. Lastly, what are you going to charge? Right? You want to charge what you're worth, right? You don't want to charge less because you're going to be doing a lot of work for someone, and you don't want to, undercharge yourself. So I would say if you're working with clients one-on-one or at group coaching, don't charge less than $2,500. And once you get the results, you can increase the price. But remember this, people who pay attention. People who barely pay are not going to pay attention. They're not going to really put in the effort. But those who actually pay are going to actually pay attention and do the work. Now think about this for a minute. If you had 8 clients that paid you $2,500 and you acquired those clients in 1 month, that is $20K in a single month. Like, think about how insane that is, right? It's very possible. And there are people out there looking for the knowledge and skills that you have and the transformation that you can deliver. So don't undercharge yourself. I really can't iterate this enough because you have to start with what you have. Right? You already have everything you need. Just like the widow already had the oil in her house for her breakthrough, you have everything you need for your breakthrough. And like I said, I mentioned I'm working with a client who's going to be working on her process. She is in her late 40s and she's going through a divorce and trying to discover her purpose. And now she's helping women in the 30s and 40s to discover their purpose who have suffered through divorce. And she's going to help them to come up with their purpose in life, to figure out their purpose and to build a business and to live a life of freedom. And so you already have what you need, right? So don't overthink this. You only need to be 10% ahead of somebody to help them out, 1 chapter ahead. And believe me when I say this, you're 10% better than someone else. Your 10% that you are ahead of someone is a wealth of knowledge and wisdom, right? And trust me when I say this, when you are helping somebody who is just a few steps behind you and you share those gold nuggets of wisdom, they're going to be mind blown. They're going to be like, wow, I never thought of it that way. So I really don't want you to overthink this. Just remember that you are a reflection of the person you're serving, and you have everything you need in order to succeed and have your breakthrough. Number 3, systemize your tasks. So in 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 5, it says here, so she went from him and shut the door behind herself and her sons, and as she poured, they brought the vessels to her. See, they had a little operation in place. This was a system. She was pouring and they were bringing the jars, and then they would set them down. So in your business, you need systems in place, because systems are what's going to help you to run your business smoothly and free up your time. And I'll share a principle behind that. But when it comes to setting up systems, you want systems for posting content. You want systems in place for selling your products and services. You want to automate your business so it can run without you, right? We don't want to work 40, 50 hours a week. Like, that's insane. I want to work 20 hours a week and make $20,000 a month right now. So think about that. You need systems in place. Set up email automations and sequences so that you can nurture your audience through your email list. Sometimes setting up systems may not be through software, but hiring help. Just like in the story here, their systems was, passing the jars and collecting them and setting them aside, but she had help. That was her help. Sometimes you got to delegate. Now, obviously, if you're starting out, you're not going to just go and jump to that spot in your business where you're hiring help. You need money for that. So you need to find systems that can help you run your business smoothly. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, you're posting content every single week. Here's a system that would help you to post content consistently and effortlessly without the stress. So day 1 would be to outline your YouTube script. Day 2 would be to record your video. Day 3 would be to edit the video and create your thumbnail. Day 4, schedule the video. Now, imagine if you were to do that all in one day. It can be a little overwhelming on top of all the other responsibilities you have, especially if you're posting other content and doing things, working a 9-to-5 job. Like, think about that for a minute. If you were to just do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, have the video scheduled and it published on Friday or Saturday, it's so easy. This is why systems are so important, because it helps you to run your business smoothly. And Ephesians 5:15 and 16 highlights how important it is to have systems, because you are able to buy back your time. It says, see ye then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, for the days are evil. So here's what this Bible verse means. So it says here that we are to rescue our time, to redeem our time, to rescue it from loss. So this is about redeeming the time so that we have more time for other things that are more important to us. Our family, friends, experiences, our purpose in life. When you redeem your time, you have more freedom. Think about it with a 9-to-5. When you're working a 9-to-5, you're capped. You have limited time, and you're not able to buy back that time because you got to go and do what somebody else tells you to do. Now it says here that it says in verse 16, redeeming the time, for the days are evil. That word evil is not talking about like the devil. It's actually talking about toil. It's toil. When you toil all day for the rest of your life, you have no way of rescuing your time from loss. But when you build a business, when you create systems in place, you're able to rescue your time for loss, which means you have the freedom, which is what we want, right? We're getting into business so that we can create financial freedom, impact people, and be a blessing. Number 4, sustain and multiply your wealth. It says here in 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 7, she came and told the man of God, and he said, go sell the oil and pay your debts, and you and your sons can live off the rest. When you think about that, she was able to sell the oil and live off the rest. That means it sustained her. Like, think about how crazy that is. If you want your financial breakthrough, you have to be comfortable with selling. You know how we talked about investing in yourselves and developing your skill set? Selling is one of the most important things you can do to develop your skill set. If you're not comfortable selling, you are going to struggle to build a business, because if you don't have conviction about the things that you're selling, it's going to be impossible to persuade someone to get the thing that you're selling. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 12 says, so that you may walk properly before outsiders and be dependent on no one. See, when you're dependent on no one, that is the best life. See, Paul is talking to us in this passage of scripture about living a life that pleases God and to live a quiet life, to work with our hands and to do our own business so that we are dependent on no one. You see, the widow had to sell the oil. And because of that, she was no longer dependent on anyone. She was able to pay off her debts. She was able to sustain herself. Proverbs 11:26 says, "The people curse him who holds back grain, but a blessing is on the head of him who sells it." Create an offer so you can pay off your debts. Create an offer so you can create financial freedom. Think about this for a minute. You go to work 40 hours a week so that you can buy things that you want, so you can travel. It's no different when you create an offer and use that offer to pay for the things that you want. Create an offer that is $2,500, $5,000, $10,000, and get people in it, get people into your program, and use that money to pay off debt, to invest in real estate, to sustain and multiply your wealth. This goes a lot deeper than selling and multiplying your money. This is about stewardship, right? We see that stewardship is so important to God. We see that in Matthew 25, Luke 16, and Luke 19. And this is about honoring the Lord with what he is giving you, right? If you have had some success and you see success in your business, sustain it. And you have to sustain it by stewarding that money well, diversifying your income and investing it so that you can increase and sustain your family, building generational wealth. That is what we want here. Is we want wealth. We want to create wealth so we can pass it on. And that starts by stewarding it well. If you've ever wondered how to manage your money, how to budget, and how to steward the thing that God is giving you, I have a free Notion template down in the description. You can click it, download it, and start learning the 4-step process for stewarding your money. And it's followed by biblical principles. So if you want to learn how to do that, you can pick that up in the description. I believe that if you follow these 4 steps and you identify your knowledge, you package your offer, you systemize your tasks, and you sustain and multiply your wealth, you are going to be on your way to building a successful business. God has given us everything we needed in his word to build a thriving business. And I believe that these 4 steps are easy enough for you to follow. And just remember that you have everything you need in order to succeed. Just like the widow, she already had everything she needed in order to have her breakthrough. So take steps of faith and go out there and build that business. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And then let me know down in the comments, what kind of content do you want to see from me? I really want to know so that I can make sure that I'm creating content that you actually want to see. Next week, I will be working on a video for you that is the 4-step process for managing your money that God is giving you so that you can increase your capacity for more. So stay tuned for that video and I'll see you in the next video.